1. You're good.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're looking at Bloodlust, day number 2. We're about to go into game 3 between Naventic and GFE. But first, we want to remind you that right now the prize pool donations are still open. There is a there's a back reward, a Ting sponsored backer reward that will donate $5 to the prize pool, and that'll get you a free Ting SIM card and $10 of credit to go towards your first month. That's crazy value, guys. I mean, it's huge. Now, remember, Ting is no contract, so there's no sort of commitment right here. It's just going to give you an opportunity to try it out. Now, we're going to be getting into game number 3, the draft between Naventic and GFE. What do you guys think is in store for game number 3?
Well, I think I saw it was Towers of Doom, which is a fun map to watch. It just really, I think, again, this is going to come down to the draft. If Naventic really needs to keep playing to their strengths and not to, cheesing and stuff. Because there was sloppiness on both ends, which both teams can improve on, but it was still, a much closer and, much, more evenly matched game.
All right, well, the draft is just starting, so go ahead and take it away, guys.
All right, thank you, Unctus. We are here in the draft between Naventic and Gale Esports, going on to Towers of Doom for the game 3 of this first match of Bloodlust Day 2.
I think, at least for our stream, this is the first game 3 of the tournament. And it's in the winners finals. You couldn't ask for a better, situation, except for, grand finals going to game 5. But Naventic going to open up with a Tassadar ban. I mean, it denies that Vala Tassadar combo, which we've been talking about, as well as Tassadar is really good on this map. It's not just the vision that's important, but it's the ability to stall out points for such a very, very long time.
Tassadar went from almost non-existent at the last regional, and suddenly he is being prioritized by all of these teams at this
Was
event.
he changed in the most recent patch?
He was not changed directly. I think teams are responding to a shift in the meta as a response to the Zagara changes and the Vala changes. So the fact that we've seen so much shift in the valuation of TAS is really surprising to me, and I think that is driven by his synergy with Vala for the most part.
Well, we'll see what Gale Force wants to ban in response to the Tassadar ban. I don't think they're too worried about any cheese on this map because, well, there's no keeps and no core to go kill, right? So
there are potentially hooks and portals, though, and gorges.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes.
So that is something you have to be concerned about. A lot of teams have said
gotta love that Medivh.
That Medivh Stitches is just very good on this map because it is such a unique style of map where the structures, the forts and keeps, the bell towers, it all promotes a situation where you're always in danger of a Stitches hook into a Medivh, into a gorge, Medivh portal, into a building. So either of these teams could look to do that, but that will not be prioritized just yet with the Ariel ban by Gale Force and the Li Ming first pick.
Again, Li Ming is another hero that's got the stall. She's got the long-range poke, so she can really just kind of siege down if they're trying to get a cap. So not too shocking from Naventic, as well as you're denying Crowan one of his favorite picks. So, I don't know if Li Ming first pick is too normal right now, but I'm not shocked seeing Naventic, first pick it versus Gale Force.
I like it as a response to both the fact that it's good on this map and it's a good counter pick. I think those combine to the point where it does elevate Li Ming's status to the point where first pick is a reasonable place to look at that hero. She's just so good on the map.
Yeah.
And Naventic knows it. So Gale Force will need to do something to respond to this. I like the Muradin. As a pickup, it does a very good job of diving the Li Ming in the backline and preventing her from getting damage onto your squishies. But not the best at interrupting. He has to all in order to interrupt, and a lot of times that can get you in trouble.
When we do see that, it will be the Muradin first pick from Gale Force. B-Kid played it fantastically game number 1. He's been playing it fantastically all weekend, so not too surprised there. And they're going to get another comfort pick with that Akaface going for the Brightwing. Tanking a Warrior before mid-tier bans, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? We're tanking a support, sorry.
This is a little unusual, you're right. The first 2 rotations, the 1-2 slot as second pick, can be difficult because this is your only opportunity to pick heroes before the ban phase. You only get 2. And tank healer is just so unusual because it puts you in a situation where Naventic now has the option of picking up basically all the prime DPS, plus they can ban another one. And then you're locked into a situation where suddenly you have to take tier 2 or tier 3 ranged carries. I mean, the way these pros look at it, they think, okay, tier 1, let's say, is Vala Li Ming. And now Naventic can lock Gale Force out of both of those very easily at almost no cost to their own draft.
You're
and
right,
that's the kind of thing you have to be worried about when you open with something like Warrior Healer.
Well, there's the Tychus. We saw it played very well last game by Zuna. It does a lot of damage to those the frontline warriors. And there's the ETC, so they're going to go ahead and pick up their tank as well for Jason. Go into the mid-tier bans. At this point, I think we can say that we'll be avoiding the Medivh Stitches cheese this game. As for a ban, Gale Force, I mean, they could be going for Morales. We've seen them ban it versus Kenma before. We'll see.
We could see that.
Is the Morales ban more targeted towards denying the cheese, or is that more targeted towards Kenma?
Well, at this point in the draft, banning it is absolutely banning it in terms of a real draft.
Right.
So banning the medic
there it
out
is,
here is basically admitting that we don't have a composition that can deal with medic, or we don't think we can build one that can deal with medic if they pick it in those last 2 slots. Because it is just one of those heroes that changes the flow of the game. The game becomes about dealing with the medic. You have to either isolate her target so she can't heal it, or go on her since she can't heal herself. And it just makes the game so difficult for these teams. No surprise to see it banned out in that second ban phase. We've seen a lot of that over the past few events.
We talked about it before. They could have. They're going to go for the Sergeant Hammer. I mean, again, yesterday Fan played Sergeant Hammer very, very well. We also talked about the potential Vala denial there, but they're going to go ahead and ban out the Hammer, which I think is a safer ban. Looking at their composition right now, if the Hammer positions well, you know, they would have to really overextend to get to the far backline siege position. So I can understand this Hammer ban there. Next 2 picks for Gale Force. I mean, they need their DPS. I mean, we've been talking about Vala. That's clear on the table. What else would Gale Force? Oh, there's the Medivh.
Did we avoid it?
Did we avoid
Or
the
did they
Medivh Stitches?
They're just waiting. They know.
If they go this comp, they have almost no damage, but they got a lot of CC.
Well, the Medivh does bring a lot of damage if he's allowed to stack up that Master's Touch
Right.
at level 7 Talent Bequest to reduce the cooldown on his Q ability that does the damage. It resets when it hits a target. So that is an option. We have seen some Medivh players play absolutely excellently, both in Korea and in Europe. We have seen some very good Medivh play, and I would not be surprised to see that level of play come out of Gale Force.
Okay, so you think, like, let's just hypothetically throw it out there. If they were to last pick the Stitches here, they could make it work.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Stitches is one of my favorite heroes. So
Wait, so you're okay with this cheese, but the other cheese,
Well,
that's a no-go.
I mean, if you win with
Is
it,
this stinky cheese or is this yummy, tasty cheese?
it's one of those things where all of the teams know about this, and this is like last pick. You know it's coming. You know there's a potential for
Right.
it, at least. So it would have cost you 1 ban. Like, they could have taken the Sergeant Hammer ban and put it on Medivh, and then there's no risk of it. So there's something to be said about the fact that this is sort of a cheese that's solved. It's map-specific. Everyone knows about it.
Right.
It's not exactly the same thing, and I also don't think the strat itself is as strong as the other one. But
Okay.
who knows?
Well, Naventic going to go ahead and lock in that Uther. Always pairs well with the ETC. But what do you think about the Uther in response to their current composition? Is it to, if they do get the Gorge combo, that, you know, you Divine Shield over the wall and try and give yourself time to get them back?
That does seem like what it is currently. I think that is actually a little bit scary, though, for Naventic. Picking this Uther here really weakens your sustained fighting capability, and right now Gale Force hasn't committed to anything, and I feel like they are not obligated to go with the Stitches. They could go with any sort of bruiser or secondary frontline, and suddenly their team comp has better, like really good sustained damage, just like Naventic, but they also have the Brightwing healer, so they have the global advantage, and they can get that poke healed off really easily.
Well, we do see the Thrall pick up from Naventic. We're going to have Tomster on him again, and he played fantastically last game. We'll have to see what this last pick is for Gale Force. They are counting down the time. Will it be the Stitches, or will we see some more damage? And it's Falstad. So they are going to go for more of a damage type composition. And with this much poke, this much sustain, you think that Gale Force just wins the sustain war?
Well, pre-nerf Falstad, I would have said absolutely, but he has seen quite a few tweaks lately, including adjustments to his mage stat build, and he just does not have the same oomph as he used to, I would say. So I think he's more for the global here, and Gale Force is going to need to utilize their double global and the Medivh portals to have a shot in this game.
All right, so who are you most excited to see play in this? Which player are you looking out for the most to like truly make a difference for their team here?
Well, as far as players, I mean, again, we're going to be looking at Tomster on Thrall, obviously, but also I want to see who on Gale Force thinks that they have what it takes to play the Medivh. I want to know who has practiced that hero, who's going to take that to the next level and really show off Medivh in NA, because we have not seen very many players use it so far.
Prismaticism. We saw him do crazy stuff.
Am I saying dumb things right now? That's a different team. That's a team that has
Yeah, that's a different team. Yeah. Good thing you didn't have a mic, so stream probably doesn't know about it. Zoya said some excellent things, guys, but we're going to actually hand him the microphone now so you can hear his amazing analysis.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
All right, we are going to go into game number 3 here. Now, remember, whoever wins this game will move on into the grand finals, and the loser will get knocked down into the loser bracket, as this is a double elimination, and they'll have to fight their way back. So we're going to head over to our casters. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Alrighty, guys. Well, this is it. We saw that very first series or that very first game where Naventic was struggling.
You know, I think while Jake gets his mic plugged in there, you know, I think Zoya said it all with that brilliant insight, and I mean, there's not much left to even talk about, but I'm going to introduce the teams here. On the left-hand side, we are going to have Gale Force Esports, and it's going to be Fan is going to be the Medivh player. Oh, I'm so amped up for this. Michael Udall playing Falstad, Akaface on Brightwing, Crone on Vala, and B-Kid on Muradin.
Now, with that Medivh, we were expecting the Stitches to be a potential threat, but not on the table here. Jason going to be on the ETC. Zuna is going to be playing that Tychus Kenma on Uther. Big E's going to be on the Li Ming, and Tomster once again on Thrall.
I am a little disappointed that we didn't see the Stitches. You know, I think they
Yeah.
really set themselves up for it, but they're probably just wanting to avoid being stuck with so low damage between Muradin and
That's true.
Stitches together.
That would be pretty low DPS overall. I mean, Vala, yes, Medivh can start to dish up the DPS once he gets Master's Touch fulfilled later in the game, but
Yeah, man, and I'm so excited to see Fan, though, play this. He's one of those really intelligent players who makes a character like this work so well. I feel like, you know, he's just going to find every opportunity to make use of it. But on the side of Naventic, they've drafted such a good counter Medivh comp. You know, if you think about what is the big counter to Medivh, hold that thought. Crowing getting nuked down really rapidly here. Jason finds a nice stun, and now their sights are set on B-Kid with Kenma leading off in the stun. He's going to be just fine down there, especially with his passive ticking in. But going back to what I was saying about Naventic's draft, they've picked the good counter for Medivh, which is having a lot of knockback, ways to separate him from his portal. And so when he's trying to do all that stuff where he's jumping in, trying to get those extra little cheeky cues in there, every time he does that, we're going to see the knockback loudspeakers from ETC, the Wave of Force from Li Ming. Sunder could even set them up for a kill on the Medivh. There's so many ways. Tychus Grenade. They have all of these different ways in their arsenal to interrupt Medivh, and it's going to be so scary for Fan here when he goes through those aggressive portals to try and get that damage. So many good opportunities to punish, but we'll see if he maybe changes up his build or anything to deal with that, or just goes with the standard Master's Touch, the stacking talent at level 7 to get that huge power spike of damage in the mid game.
is this the first time we've ever seen him play Medivh in tournament?
I can't think of another time where we've seen him play it.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, already BK taking a lot of damage once more, will be able to Dwarf Toss back to safety, and the first altars are spawning in 25 seconds. As always, first 3 will be available on the map. Based on the layout here, the compositions that we have in the early game KO, who would you say has the stronger early game team fight?
GFE by a huge margin. They have the vision from Medivh. They have double global between Brightwing and Falstad. They have the tools to force the numbers advantage here. 100% got to give it to GFE. But usually what ends up happening here is you just have the defensive ones capped by the respective members, and then the real fight is over the bottom shrine, which is what I expect we'll see here again. But the numbers advantage will come a little bit more quickly for GFE, as Brightwing's going to be able to teleport much more quickly before Thrall gets down here. They should make something happen with this opportunity window. You see them getting damage on Jason. Now they need to turn refocus. Michael Udall took a lot of damage coming in there. Tomster getting a little bit low. Wow, that combo coming out for big impact. Watch out for this guy. He is hitting those arcane orbs with his striker Li Ming skin there. Beautiful volleyballs.
Kenma is actually very close to channeling this. The multi-shot does not reach, and suddenly Naventic will find that second one. Zuna finds the kill on Akaface, picking up the nice plays here on Naventic, and B-Kid very low. Crowin has a sliver of health, but will be able to get away.
Crowing got so low there. That got real scary real fast. Oh, the chain lightning. Oh my god! That actually got him. You saw Crowin stop his back there because he knew there was a chance it would jump to him. That was... dude, Tomster on Thrall. I was going to say this earlier, But, you know, sometimes you have a player who's hot on a particular champion that day, you want to continue to put him on that hero. And that's exactly what they're doing with Tomster. Get him Thrall every game for the rest of the day. He's a god.
If he keeps doing that, I'm going to keep doing my witch cackle laugh because...
Yeah, I like that.
Just got to get ready for Halloween, man. The thematic
I know. It made us
vibe.
both jump. That was real spooky.
Oh my goodness, the Hammer of Justice mid Dwarf Toss power slide in onto B-Kid. The knockback there with the loudspeakers, but B-Kid will be able to live on. Still, really good combo there on the side of Naventic. The pressure they're putting on that allows the Pumpkin Sappers to get all the way in there. They've removed the ammunition on the one remaining tower that's almost dead. And, well, they're sitting in a great spot this game.
They're sitting in a great spot, but the game's still very even here. B-Kid trying to get the dismounts. As you see that mid wave is moving in towards the tower. They're trying to deny some of the soak, but Jason is going to be able to power his way through and get in there in time. Now, 2 towers being spawned at the top left and top right of the map. So this is one of those where, because the game's so even, Jake, I really expect this to be a very even trade here. Both teams will probably just pick up their own.
1 for 1. Especially with Medivh. I mean, Medivh just gives you so many options in terms of retreat, sustain, and then positioning. I just can't imagine there's any like safe way for Naventic to invade that point.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really interesting to see what happens elsewhere on the map. You see Michael Udall getting a nice little advantage by pushing bottom here. And I like this choice because they know it's going to be a defensive here. Both teams trading 4 shots each. And Michael Udall, though, getting a little bit of an XP advantage by being down here the whole time. Might even be able to get a nice engage on Zuna here if he sees the opportunity. But now it's just turned into a 1-versus-1 lane down there. Everybody's basically back in position. Just an overall very even trade, even game so far, leading up to the level 10. And it is going to be the Mage Stat. We've seen a little bit of that mix-up lately. Hold on, there's a brawl in the top as Naventic's trying to get that top pumpkin camp. They are able to get it. But you see Fan now with Master's Touch here. Every one of those Qs counts. Tomster misses maybe the first Feral Spirit of the set. And Fan just continuing here to poke in and stack. With 4 members up there, there's a lot of opportunities for him to get this.
Yeah, but they're conceding a lot of soak, like this constant false set pressure. Actually collapsing on Zuna in the mid. We do see Tychus getting jumped on. A lot of damage done, but he will be able to live on. Now, with this rotation now onto Crowan, will Crowan be as formidable, as safe in getting away? Not quite. The Brightwing phase shift just barely not making it in.
Crowan has been getting picked on real hard today. That's all I gotta say. Naventic has their sights set on Crowan. Seeing him as the weak link today, getting all of those ganks on him nonstop. Michael Udall, though, still has barrel roll up. Jason, that was a little bit sloppy there. Probably thought he was trying to juke lower down here to try and maybe get a back off in the bush or a flyaway. But instead, Michael Udall just went straight for the base. Now we've got a double tower spawn. And this is a critical one, guys, because level 10 coming up here, Naventic slightly having the experience lead. But if Zuna wants to get down there in time, he's going to have to make the rotation before Akaface here on Brightwing, because he can, of course, just teleport in as soon as he needs to.
Well, even with all the additional soak that we were talking about, just the kills Naventic's been picking up has worked out. They'll be locking in those heroics first and getting in position. Brightwing and Falsehead looking to continue utilizing that global soak to make sure they can get 10 in time to contest both of these altars. And Fan should be able to stall out this bottom. Actually, Kenma, the way he's posturing, Big E is going to be able to lock this in. The Hammer of Justice with the follow-up of ETC and Thrall is too much of a threat. Power slide in onto that Muradin. Good shields in. The shields of Brightwing topping that off as well. And the portal used in a very odd manner.
Now, Medivh
really
does have Polybomb
here.
here. I just want to point that out. He has Polybomb here instead of the Leyline Seal. We've been seeing a little bit of that picked up recently. The Polybomb here will be really nice for Mosh interrupts too when that happens. Akaface gets very low. The Sunder does connect. Beacon taking a lot of the damage, though, in the front line. Does get the shield.
Wow, that strafe is doing so much damage, though. Jason and Tomster barely surviving. Zuna with the flank. The orb comes in from Big E. The shield's on Brightwing, but it goes into the mosh pit. Jason with the God Mosh.
The cutoff mosh pit. It's not even just the mosh pit. His positioning there, waiting for the right opportunity on the retreat to catch those guys and absolutely secure those kills. Wow, that was such nice play on the execution there. And then, is that actually Vala falling as well? I think she was already dead.
Oh, the young additional damage from that bottom bell tower that was picked up? Min-max. 19 health remaining here on the side of GFE.
Naventic making a very strong showing here in this game. Yet again, with Tomster being on point there with the Sundering. And I honestly felt like that was Fan's time to shine in that fight. He needed to get a little bit more interrupts going. And he didn't really have much of an impact in
Even
that
the
fight.
portal placement was kind of just like, maybe he was looking for an avenue for Falstead to get to the left side, but Falstead is barrel roll. Like, I was just a little bit confused as to what that portal was for. But regardless, we do see they're going to be able to stop these sappers, probably. They're so close to going over that line. You see Udall and Crowan holding their ground to make sure they stay there. One does make it over, and that's not good.
Yeah, that hurts, and they're in this position now where they can't really even push out to punish Naventic here because that's a Naventic bell tower sitting right behind them, that Naventic keep. So that is going to hurt as GFE now down to 18 shots. And I think, going back to what you were saying, it really speaks to the strength of Naventic's draft here. They have such an aggressive all-in comp that it's hard for Medivh here to really get anything going and make use of all that poke that he has. Because as soon as Naventic is ready to fight, they just go in, they hit that Sunder, they have the ETC power slide. So much damage happens so quickly that it's hard for Medivh to really ramp up and use all of his sneaky utility tools.
I mean, the power slide towards Udall, the flank there from Li Ming, everything is juked. Great retreat there from Udall. But everything they're doing right now, like, even though they might miss a few minions of experience in the mid lane, they're making sure they have this bell tower advantage for the next altar. Now, like this, it's tough decision making because there's this continuous response needed in the bottom, but they do find Zuna in the top, and this is the kind of play they need to make.
Yeah, this is really nicely done here. Zuna's going to fall, and he popped his drill there. Now let's see what globals are left. Oh, big impact. Might be able to find the snipe. He doesn't go in with the E and the beam there. Unfortunately, just letting him get away. But now with this single bell tower spawning, Tomster's ready for the cap. Jason is going to try and zone. They're just trying to buy enough time, but B-Kid's going to be there. Oh, the D-Shield cap! It's going to connect.
That's a 3 cap. Now, they did spend Divine Shield to pick up 5 damage. And they are on the retreat, acknowledging that this window is not the time to fight. They will be leaving, but that's good damage. For
a second there, I totally forgot about the D-Shield potential of the cap. I'm just like, yeah, there's no chance that Murden's going to let him cap. Oh, wait, he's got D-Shield. So that play, such a nice way to use that ultimate. And I feel like maybe an undervalued part of picking Uther on this map is that you can get away with that, especially in those situations where you only need one more cap
my
to close
goodness.
out.
Okay, Udall does live on. I thought it was going to go down.
Well, the Polybomb on bottom. That actually looks like it's going to be a kill on to Kenma.
But he rotates the Sundering, hitting all 3 members. The rotation is coming. Jason finds a 2-man mosh, but the Gust will disengage, but the kill on Vala is there. Kenma still alive in the backside. Fan with a sliver of health lives on once more, but this bottom bell tower, they have not been able to reclaim it, and now they're pinging the sappers. Oh, what? Tomster!
The Witch Cackle returns for that play. And that was just some beautiful footwork around the fort here. Kenma just juking everything there. Tomster's got Kem's back with that Sunder to peel off, and they just turned that situation around so nicely. And honestly, Naventic is running away with this lead. I mean, this is kind of why I was surprised in that very first game, because they started doing so well in the team fights early on, and then they reverted to that crazy cheese strategy. It's like, Naventic can win these games straight up. They're showing that they are the better team today. That's a kill on Murden.
Oh!
And this is a
Big E goes full ham sandwich status. That Sapper is on the line. He will make it in. 3 altars up, 11 health remaining. 2 is not enough to end the game. We're going to see GFE reclaim the bottom bell tower. It's almost dead. Brightwing, can she do it on her own? I seriously doubt it. But yeah, that's going to be 10 damage.
Yeah, 10 damage, and that means a boss is going to be the win condition here for the game for Naventic. So this puts GFE in sort of that checkmate position where it's truly going to take a miracle for GFE to defend this. There's too many points of pressure and contention. The one thing they have going for them is with all of these globals and the vision from Medivh, they can at least do a much better job of scouting out what Naventic's game plan is going to be. Crowan just eats that entire orb missile combo. Already getting so low there. You see all the shields being stacked up on him. Tomster, though,
where's the Sunder? He needs the Sunder. He's not going to be able to get it out. Stunned too long. They find Tomster early in the fight. Drill is just powering through Beacon, but they focus it down also. The rest of the retreat should be successful for Naventic. Doubt they can get any kills on their own because the Medivh and the Brightwing have those heals.
Now, if you're GFE right now, I feel like one of the possible plays here that you might want to make is just trying to take the boss as a denial play. But with 4 other members of Naventic still up, that even would be so risky to do here. They're sitting on 1 health, though, however, so that boss being up just makes it so difficult for GFE to really do anything. If they go bottom, they're basically conceding the game by giving up the boss top. They just have to make perfect use of their globals and the rotations here to try and hold on to this game. But they have such a long road ahead of them, too, with 29 shots still being available. They have to get 29 shots to close this out without giving up anything.
Beautiful power slide in the Mosh. Divine Mosh going to confirm at least 2 kills here. We do see the shield of Medivh. The blink heal away from Akaface. The teleporter was in a good spot as well. And the Polypom not getting the true value they wanted. Sundering knocks Medivh's up. The stun combo is there. Biggie in the back misses onto Crowan, but knocks him back into his face. Strafe is used. Bazuna with the quarterback finds another kill.
And with that, that should be game here. That's going to be an alter. And there's another power slide. Just close it out with a few more kills. Put a little bit of style on it to finish things off. That's going to be this series going over to Naventic here. I don't see any way that GFE can defend this. This is going to be the final cap. They could do boss. They could cap this. They could cap bell towers. I mean, whatever they do, the game is in their hands here. Akaface and Zuna. Zuna stayed alive. No, he's going to fall. Consolation prize of killing him. Good game to Naventic. And, man, in those last 2 games, they showed why are there such a dominant force still in NA.
I mean, KO, that's why I was so tilted in game 1. I'm like, we're seeing you try this cheese again, and it felt so bad. But Naventic, well-deserved victory. They came through. They played brilliantly on Tomb of the Spider Queen and on Towers of Doom, and that's what I want to see, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep, beautifully done there. And we saw Tomster, honestly, I'm going to say it again, MVP of the entire series.
Yeah.
Just played so well consistently on Thrall, setting up the kills for his team. That's one of the hardest characters, honestly, to play at the tip-top level because players are so good at juking Feral Spirits, and your Sunder timings have to be absolutely perfect.
I will say, however, I don't know that I felt that Medivh comp worked.
Yeah, no,
it never looked like there was the synergy to make the plays happen. They weren't making those hard dives with it. Like, actually, I mean, that was a matchup where this is the team that has both Fan and Udall. Both players that are really well known for strong melee assassin play. They didn't draft a melee assassin because of the flow of how everything was going. And would the Stitches have worked better than Falstad? Maybe.
I gotta say, I mean, as a little bit of a call out, maybe like they seem like they got scared. They got a little shooken up. They seem like they really drafted to play around that style, and then going with Falstad, who's probably one of the weaker mages now with all the changes. You know, he's seen a lot more. Isn't it? It is weird to say. He's still a good character, but like you said, you know, they didn't really have much of a front line there. Only having B-Kid on Murden, who excels more at like diving in and putting pressure on the back line. So all you have is these 3 squishies in the back that are being left completely exposed. And for Fan, they're trying to keep everybody alive. It's not like he can get that much good use even out of the portals because there's no melees that are trying to make use of it. So it felt like a bit of a misdraft there by Gale Force. And they didn't really have much direction in their gameplay, whereas Naventic knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll leave the analysis to the guys on the other side of the wall here. So, anyways, a great series and well played, Tomster.
Let's hear what they thought about the draft.
No, I think that just about covers it. I don't know. I think we're all set. No,
That's enough for us to talk about. KO handled it all, so...
All right, no, Naventic is going to the grand finals because of their performance in game 2 and 3. What is left to say about them, Dunk Train?
Well, we obviously heard all the credit given to Tomster about his Thrall. In those 2 games, he played excellently. Yeah. But I would also like to point out Jason. On this last game, on that ETC, he played very well. We saw some excellent mosh pits. We saw a really good understanding of where you can zone and where you can get the most control over the flow of the fight. And he had no deaths in that game, and it was very impressive to me. I thought he played outstanding, which is difficult as the newest member of a roster with such big personalities. It's hard to come into that roster and actually make the plays and do work. So props to Jason. He really filled the role he needed to do there.
Zoya, is there anything that Gale Force could have done to have tried to take that game 3, or was it just straight dominance throughout the entire thing?
I think the problem was the draft. Fan didn't even go the level 7 damage talent on Medivh, and he still out-damaged the Falstad. So I think almost any damage dealer could have been picked there. And done better.
I mean, we did see a lot of stellar individual play. Like, I thought Akaface played like a dope right wing. I thought some of the polymorphs were awesome. Like, he was on point throughout.
And Fan did really well as well. There were some really fantastically timed polybombs that were really clutch, but I think it was primarily draft. The Falstad did not seem to have very much impact at all.
All right, so that's it for that match. Now, after every single match today, we are going to be giving away Machines of War bundles. That's a $60 value. To be part of that, you can go ahead and just type #waffle into the chat, and we'll make sure that you get in there. If partway through you decide that you don't want to participate in the raffle anymore, you can just hit #denial, or we'll make sure that you have no part of that. And we're about to head to a quick break. But after that, we have an incredible, incredible gift in store for every last one of you. You guys managed to pull together enough money to hit the $11,000 stretch goal. And during the next cast, we're going to go ahead and make it happen. Zoya and Dunk Train have agreed to eat a ridiculously hot pepper and then cast the next match without any relief whatsoever. No milk, no bread. They are going to try to do it just straight up. Now, I had the chance to try one of these already, and they are absolutely brutal to eat.
I'm nervous.
It was absolutely
I don't want to do this.
Wild.
I hate this.
I was like curled in a ball outside for a few minutes.
You and Kubi were both like crippled and with having milk instantly.
So you absolutely do not want to miss that. So please stick around. We're going to head to a quick break before our next match. So please stick around.
Thanks for calling Ting. This is Isabel speaking. How can I help you? Hello? Thanks for calling Ting. This is Isabel speaking. How can I... Hey, this is Isabel at Ting. For service in English, press 1. Para el servicio en español, presione 2. To talk about phones, press 1. To talk about something else, press 2. To speak to an operator, press 0. Please hold while we direct your call to the first available agent. Your time is important to us. Thank you for your patience. Ba ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba da ba. Thanks for calling Ting. This is Isabel speaking. How can I help you?
Oh wow, that's quick.